Greetings, brave adventurers! Psst, hey, kid. You wanna buy some RPG horror stories? Well, I got some for you. I'm not gonna keep doing that accent. I've got RPG horror stories for you if you're willing to buy, or not buy. It's YouTube. YouTube's free. Still, for now. I kinda lost track of this intro. Let's get to the stories. Yeah. Our first story comes to us from the user SonicCop99 and is titled D&D Player Demands to Purchase a Child. And this one is exactly what it says on the tin. A dead dove, do not open. Now that said, there is a bit of extra creep factor in there that is maybe not quite what you're expecting. Or maybe it is what you're expecting because you've come to expect the worst. Tale start. Last summer, me and my brother got bored, so we decided to play some D&D. Went to a game store, gathered some folks, got them interested in my brother's campaign idea, and he became our DM. We are still playing this very same campaign, albeit with like half the players having been replaced by now. See? That's how easy it is to find a game. You just gotta take the initiative. I didn't even do that on purpose. This particular incident happened near the beginning of the campaign. We as a party decided to collectively do a bunch of side quests in the wealthy major city called Venusia. Yes, it was based on Venice. In order to rack up gold so we could buy armor, weapons, and level up a bit before we engaged with the main quest, which my brother, DM, admitted would be very cutthroat and merciless. Okay, here's a fun fact for you. You can just start there. Like you can actually just start at the appropriate level with the appropriate amount of money and the appropriate amount of equipment. That's always an option. You don't have to start at level 1. Once we had finished a dungeon crawl through a low-level Wyvern's gold trove, we were now rolling in dough and were ready to use it. So we had a filler session for us to RP in the city, float around, and learn things, and go shopping. I remember buying this plate armor that was really badass looking. Oh. And yeah, I ended up AI generating a concept art piece of my character wearing it. Please don't do that. Stop. If you want to know my full thoughts, you can go back a couple weeks and watch that video where I give my full thoughts. But then, there was our party's rogue, who for his part, decided to go find the nearest orphanage and told the caretaker, "I'd like to buy one. I prefer females around the age of 10 to 12. Best age. Developing, but not too developed. And make sure she is white or Japanese." I want to be clear that this is D&D. This is Dungeons and Dragons. There is no Japanese. There isn't really a white in the same sense that you get in reality. My brother just said, what? And then switched to the caretaker's voice and said, "Yeah, we don't sell the kids to weird travelers like yourself. You'd best be going on whatever dangerous, non-child-friendly mission you are undertaking." And Rogue said, "With my family's wealth and all the gold I have accumulated traveling, I could probably buy this whole damn town. You could renovate this dump and actually feed these kids." My brother said, "Look, bro, this ain't happening. She will call the guards if you don't leave." Rogue then got pissed off and said, "Fuck it, I stab the insolent bitch and take the kid myself." So that, isn't the direction I was fully expecting it to take, but it was kind of the direction I was dreading when I first read this. My brother then has town guards rush into the orphanage and confront him and say, "Last chance. You can leave now or probably get killed by the town guards." So Rogue's player then just gave the DM a nasty look and said, "Ever heard of player agency? You're a shitty GM. And then he got up and walked out. Never saw him again. Oh, hey, the trash took himself out. Love that. Tale end. A short one to start, but not for lacking in disgusting behavior. For one, don't buy children. For two, especially don't call out that you're looking for ones who are developing and not yet developed. That I would like for the FBI to look into this man's hard drive for no particular reason. I just think that it would probably be a worthwhile endeavor on their part. And I mean, I'll be honest, this story is one that does sort of strain credulity. Like, you really found one of these particular perfect kind of anime weeb incels at a random game store? Actually, I've been to game stores. Never mind, checks out. Don't do this. Moving on. Our second and final story for the week is from the user KindRecording3081 and is entitled, Fellow player tries to romance my character and after getting refused, attempts to them during a long rest. I have censored that word because I'm actually pretty sure that one's not allowed on YouTube. Well, I do believe that there is a lot of value in discussing things in candid terms. I will be forced to euphemize a bit of this. Obviously, this comes with a trigger warning for SA and similar actions. There's actually a bit of homophobia in this too, so that's spicy, I guess. The most confusing homophobia I've encountered in a long time, I will say. So that's fun? Tale start. Trigger warning, homophobia, and, you know. If these make you uncomfortable, then this isn't the story for you. I'm usually a GM. I've run plenty of campaigns, and have ended up as a sort of the forever GM amongst my friend group. So, when a friend of mine invited me to join a campaign that was coming up, I leapt at the chance. I joined the Discord server, and got acquainted with the GM and the other players before getting the rundown of the setting, rules, and other important details. The problem player here, let's call him Frollo. Fitting, I'd say. Extremely fitting. You'll see. Frollo was pretty normal when we met, had a short chat when I joined, and seemed chill with the rest of the party. I should actually preface this, OP is a cisgender heterosexual man. That might not sound like it matters, but it does. Come game day, I arrive with my fresh character called Allison, a half-elf draconic bloodline sorceress, who's heir to a kingdom ruled by a red great worm, and so she managed to flee in hopes of starting a new life away from her royal responsibilities. Other party members included a half-orc fighter, a tabaxi rogue, a water genasi cleric, and finally Frollo, an elven ranger. Ooh, been a minute since we've had a ranger problem player. I'm not gonna bore you with the first few sessions, as nothing really happened. A good chunk of the way through, and after some talk with the GM and player in question, I have Allison slowly start to fall in love with the party cleric, and vice versa. It starts with short moments of flirting until, after a few sessions, the two properly get together. Cue the bells of Notre Dame. Morning in Paris, the city awakes to the bells of Notre Dame. Okay. Frollo's character, began flirting with mine, making comments on her body, voice, and how wonderful of a personality she had. I politely turned down each advance while being befuddled as all hell, wondering why he was doing this. I had a talk with the GM about it, expressing how it was making me feel uncomfortable, and asking the GM to do something about it. The GM assured me that everything would be handled, and next session, Frollo stopped his behavior. Judge Claude Frollo longed to purge the world of vice and sin. What? I'm gonna keep this going, I love this fucking song. 4 sessions pass, and Frollo starts up his flirtatious advances again. I continue politely turning him down, which is when he, out of character, comments on how his name sounds so good with my voice. I'm a straight guy, so this was extremely out of pocket and uncomfortable. The GM decided to call the session off early and expressed to me that he'd have a serious talk with Frollo. Unfortunately, he was yet to light the fire. Then tell me, Maria, why I see her dancing there, why her smoldering eyes still scorch my soul. 2 more sessions go by, and we decide to go for a long rest. We have some nice RP moments, and after a short cuddle session with the party cleric, I decide to go to sleep. Frollo then asks the GM if he can sneak into my tent. No! The answer is no. The answer is no, get out. Both the GM and I are immediately taken back and absolutely dumbfounded by what we're hearing from this guy. Before the GM even has time to respond, Frollo rolls dice and gets a natural 19. Well, that doesn't matter, the GM didn't call for a roll, so nothing happened. Whatever. The GM briefly describes how Frollo manages to slip into the tent, but wakes Allison up before he can do anything. Okay, good, but still, man, this shouldn't be happening at all. Allison promptly screams at Frollo to get the fuck out of her tent, which is when Frollo tries to lunge at me in order to rip my shirt off, saying how my relationship with the cleric was heinous. It's a same-sex relationship, and that I should be with a man like him. I've had enough at this point, and ask the GM if I can cast 2 fireballs once using a sorcery point to use Quicken Spell. Frollo's confident demeanor immediately drops as I see his eyes go wide, and his jaw drops, and the GM allows it. Frollo fails his 2 saving throws, and is accordingly hit with an atomic bomb as 2 fireballs explode in his face. I survive on 10 HP due to my fire resistance, and Frollo's character is completely charred as he fails his death saves. Like fire, hellfire, this fire in my skin, this burning desire is turning me to sin. I really like this movie, okay? It's one of my favorites. A long moment of silence follows as everyone is just looking at each other, wondering what the fuck just happened, when Frollo erupts into a full tantrum, screaming that he was going to give my character something worthwhile, and that I should have accepted his advances because he knew how a real relationship worked. I, the GM, and the party cleric all bit back, which is when he actively began to sob before leaving the call and the server entirely. The rest of the session was spent discussing and raving about what just happened. Destroy Esmeralda, and let her taste the fires of hell, or else let her be mine and mine alone. I thank you for naming him Frollo, so I have an excuse to sing Hunchback. It's not very good, but I'm enjoying it. After the session, the DM apologized to me, saying how he should have stopped Frollo from even doing it. Yeah, correct, at least you realize. I told him that while that would have been the responsible thing to do, I had no problem plunging his character into the depths of hell via a fire he created. We had a good laugh, and the campaign went on with Allison and the cleric eventually getting married and settling down in the epilogue. God help the outcasts hungry from birth, show them the mercy they won't find on earth. I can't hit high notes right now, okay? I tried like a lot of times. TLDR, player continuously tries to flirt with my character even after she entered a relationship, flirted with me while knowing I'm a straight guy, and tried to assault my character during a long rest before getting nuked by 2 fireballs and rage quitting with a toddler tantrum. Tail end. Now here is a riddle to guess if you can. Sing the bells of Notre Dame. Who is the monster and who is the man? I really like that movie, okay? I don't think I sing all the songs super great, but I had fun with that, so thank you for putting up with my cringe. I have to add a little of my own. Anyway, I dislike this person, but Frollo is such an appropriate name for them. This was some Judge Claude Frollo behavior right here. But with a bit of a more interesting kind of slant to it. Like, there were some aspects of this, especially because OP is a straight man. I suspect that the Frollo player was, I don't know, a closeted gay man? How do I phrase this? He is sort of lashing out at the visible same-sex relationship because in his mind he wants to have a same-sex relationship but isn't willing to full-throatedly commit to that just yet, and is doing it in the worst possible way? I don't know. It's complicated and stupid, and frankly, the point is, he was heinous and disgusting, and the GM really should have stopped that whole situation from even beginning. Like I was saying during the story, he rolled before being asked for a roll, which means nothing actually happened. That's not how the game works. The GM has to ask for it, or else you're just rolling to roll dice, which is completely unrelated to the game that's happening. Now, a lot of the times you can be like, hey, I'm gonna do this thing, and then roll for doing that thing, because it's appropriate to the situation, because GM is like asking, alright, what's everybody doing? That makes sense to roll without being requested for. This, however, is not. In addition, I don't think it goes without saying, but probably don't roleplay this kind of thing, just in general. Certainly not without working it out with people ahead of time, at the very least. And also, like, I don't know, man, work on yourself. You've clearly got something going on there that you need to talk with someone about. Yeah. But thank you for getting me to sing Hunchback. I love Hunchback. It's a great movie. Yeah, that's the takeaway. Thanks for getting me to sing Hunchback. Well, that has been it for me this week. I hope you enjoyed this in spite of my terribly mediocre singing. I will probably not do it very often. Sorry. Don't forget to like the video if you liked the video, or dislike the video if you hated that part, which I understand. I did too. Wait, why did I do it? Oh, because I love the movie. Subscribe to the channel, do the YouTube things, leave me comments telling me exactly how terrible it was. That'd be great. You can find links to my socials in the video description, as well as a link to the FoxyBard Discord server, and I've been trying to be more active on Blue Sky these days. Mostly political discourse, you know how it is. Huge shout out and thank you and immense amount of love to all of my patrons over on patreon.com/FoxyBard. They are the greatest people in the world, and you should worship them as deities. I've reworked my stance. You should absolutely worship them as deities, every single one of them. Build a whole new pantheon just on the names scrolling by your screen right now. Unless they personally object, in which case I fully take this back, but none of them have yet, so there we go. Turn them all into gods. That's the take-home here. I'm really just trying to kill time so that there's enough space for all the names to make it on the screen and scroll by adequately without anyone feeling like they got shorted. I think that's probably enough time. You want to join the list, you can go to patreon.com/FoxyBard and sign up for as little as $1 a month. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go not take singing lessons because those are very expensive. And I would love to, but I don't have the money for that. So instead, I'm just gonna continue to be bad at it. It's my favorite thing. Alright, bye.